Forbes 30 is posted.
Everything's good either way. It's okay. Everything's good either way.
Oh my god.
Congrats.
I'm shaking. Holy shit. Wait, this is me.
You can't see.
People know how old I am. I didn't even get to announce it yet. I have a meeting in 5 minutes and I didn't even brush my teeth yet. I did it. Good morning, unichlos. I'm finally getting around to talking about this topic. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chloe. I post stories of my adulting diaries, living life in my 20s. And yes, your girl made it onto the Forbes 30 under 30 list. Yeah! I know it's been a couple months now. I am back from Asia and my work trips from San Francisco from the new job. And I think I'm slowly getting back into routine. So Forbes, how did all of this happen? I thought about doing this the educational style where I literally tell you the process of how everything happened, but you can find those videos on YouTube. This video is about the entire journey going through everything, like the emotions, what happened, how I reacted, the rejections. I wish I could share all of this on a pod, but it is not humanly possible to be a full-time product manager in tech, manage a YouTube channel, and start a podcast, so you'll just get the YouTubeified version. Let's start from the beginning. I think I was like 25 years old when I first learned about Forbes. I was part of this social tech VC club called Modernist, and it's actually really cool. People like this are in it. I know it's a bunch of dudes, but we're working on it. Tangent but related, these clubs are kind of exclusive and there's like a membership fee and you need like a referral, but I was too broke at the time, so I got in because I volunteered my time working on all of the events. So just to clarify, that's how I got in. Anyways, we hosted this like woman of Forbes 30 under 30 panel. I wasn't the main organizer, I was just one of the coordinators checking people in, and there was this woman on the panel who was like a founder of an AI startup. She was like, if I can get on Forbes, you can too. We need more women on Forbes. And I really felt that. But afterwards, we had mingling/networking and I was in this group. She came up to the group. So I turned around, I put my hand out to her and I was like, hi, my name's Chloe. And then she looked at me, looked down, looked up, rolled her eyes, and walked away. I was dumbfounded. She probably thought that I was a nobody and wasn't worth talking to. So I got home, I told my roommates, and I was livid. At the same time, I was like, I think I want to make it a goal of mine to get on Forbes 30 under 30. And one of my roommates, who was a software engineer at Google, looked at me and said, that's really hard to do, right? And I was like, yeah, that's the point. But whatever, I let it go. But then the next day, that same roommate came by my room and said, hey, I was thinking about what you said yesterday about Forbes. Just so you know, it's like a really hard thing to do, Chloe. Like, you have to be special. Even I can't get on it. The audacity, that man. There were other red flags in this friendship that we had, but immediately putting someone down for having a goal is a huge sign that this person just isn't it. So I thought about this a lot and I was like, is this goal worth stressing over the next 4 years? I don't know, but I was in my mindset stage of life. I really wanted to be a startup founder. That was a dream. But from my previous startup experience, whenever I went to go to a business meeting to pitch an idea or a new technology, the moment that I enter the meeting room, I've already lost half the room. I look incredibly young. I sound young. I just don't look like the ideal person that you'd find legit in Silicon Valley. When you Google it, people like me don't show up. And I don't want to wait until like I'm 40 or something to be able to finally be old enough to start my own thing. So something like a Forbes title in my intro would just alleviate some of the preconceived notions that these boomer exec investors have. And sometimes it just be like that. It can go from, oh, this person's so young and inexperienced, they're gonna fail, to, oh, this person's young and talented, they got Forbes 30, let me hear them out, they're gonna be an investment. I know it's not that simple, but you get the idea. Because I am an impatient person, I don't want to wait another decade just to be taken seriously to do my own thing. I wanted to look for places where being young is celebrated. And for me, the goal is not just like getting the Forbes title. The goal is getting the title so that I can use it to improve my chances of doing the thing that I actually want to do. The other half of the reason was just like simply out of spite, because I was pissed. Like, there's these people that look down on me for having a normal job and a normal life, and that just wasn't enough for them to think that I might one day do something kind of cool. So I looked into how one begins this process, and apparently you need to get nominated by your company, execs, Forbes alumni, or you can even nominate yourself. But you gotta be kind of goated to just rely on that, because Forbes is a magazine after all, and they're looking for big names, big brands, big headlines. These nominations close around September every year for the US. There's about like 20,000 candidates that get submitted, so that's a 4% acceptance rate. There's also like a cutoff date for your birthday. Like, you gotta be 29 by the end of the year. So I wouldn't qualify this year because I won't be 29 by the end of the year. You know what I mean? I was at Facebook in a time in a role that I really didn't like. I was severely under-leveled. I just took the job to transition into product. I grinded real hard to see if I could make the cut, but it just wasn't at the velocity that I needed to make the cut. I also just knew too many coworkers who'd been at Facebook for like 4 to 5 years, who got promoted once, maybe twice, and they still weren't able to get the career transition or change that they wanted. So I knew nothing was gonna happen to me if I stayed at Facebook. Then I joined TikTok because they were mega hiring across tech. Like, they were offering top of market comp. I sold my soul and I dedicated my blood, sweat, and tears to this company. And I did everything in my job and more, like all the culture things, the offsites, visibility stuff. I made really good relations with all my execs. One day, I finally asked my director if he'd be willing to nominate me for Forbes, and he said that he'd be down. He just needs to check with the company process. I went down this like PR, HR rabbit hole to get the company to endorse me for Forbes. What I learned here was that companies actually pick a couple of candidates to submit to Forbes because it looks really good on them. So after a ton of back and forth with TikTok and being ghosted by them, they said they couldn't endorse me. And then I went back to my director, who, you know, I spent all year serving basically, and I asked if he'd be down to just nominate me as an individual. And guess what? He ghosted me. He ghosted his own team. I ended up having to get other execs and mentors to nominate me. And then I wrote my own application. I wrote it like a CV. It was very unromantic. December rolls around and surprise, surprise, I didn't get it. I knew I didn't have like a compelling angle, but I was still really crushed. I remember browsing through the entire list that day, and there were actually a good amount of people that I knew on this list. Half of them were totally legit, but the other half were like completely whack. Don't get me wrong, Forbes is statistically a hard list to get on. And there's a lot of based and goated people on it, but just a friendly reminder that this is also the same list that Elizabeth Holmes was on. So you got the whole gamut. Anyways, rejection sucks, but I'll tell you how I dealt with it after a quick commercial break with the sponsor of today's video, Fastmail. Just hear me out. Think of all the websites that you signed up for in the last, 5 years. Every time you sign up for something that's free, it's not actually free. Even things like your email, you're paying with your privacy and your data. Some email services even scan your email to give you targeted ads. Kind of spooky. But then there's Fastmail, which is an email service provider that puts your privacy first. The Fastmail team truly believes that its users are their customers, not products to be exploited. So the whole thing is absolutely no ads! Your personal data is kept safe and not sold to third parties. You can also create a mass email, which is like a fake email linked to your real email that you can use to sign up for stuff. But if your email gets leaked and you start getting spammed, you can easily track and delete that mass email. Problem solved. If you've always used another email provider and are afraid of switching, don't worry. It's really easy to download and port your data into Fastmail so you don't lose your email history. Reclaim your privacy today and make email yours again with Fastmail. Sign up with my link down below to get 30 days free or 10% off your first year. Now back to my rejection. At this point, I already quit TikTok. I joined Discord. I was really happy to be at Discord, but I distinctly remember the first week of onboarding and I thought to myself, damn, I'm so sick of this. It's been 6 years of nonstop grinding and giving my entire identity and well-being to these companies that don't even care about me. So I decided, that's it. I'm gonna be a normal employee, no more working weekends, no more doing the post-dinner shift. I'm gonna start this YouTube channel for real. I'm gonna build this content company and do cool shit with it. And so I did. I mean, I still did my job and maybe some more, but I didn't go volunteer for anything outside of my normal duties. But to be honest, being a PM at a baseline is just like a lot of work, so kind of hard to avoid. Anyways, I think August rolls around and I think I saw like a post about the Forbes deadline and I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about this. Did I do it? This is my last year to do it. And then I thought, well, maybe not, because I don't know what's changed since last year. So then I had a one-on-one with my manager, Rick, who you met in my last video. He just left the company. I love Rick. I think he's amazing. He's also the same age as me. So knowing that companies usually endorse maybe 2 people from different parts of the company, if I were in their shoes, I would totally pick Rick over me. So I went into this one-on-one and I was like, hey, I think you should go for Forbes 30 under 30. And he was like, oh, I was already on it. I was like, what? Yeah, that's right. I forgot that he was a startup founder before joining. And then I told him about my secret dream of wanting to be on the Forbes list, but I don't know how I feel about it and it's already kind of late. And he was like, you should go for it. What do you have to lose? I'll nominate you. And just like that, I spent the entire evening and the entire weekend working on my application once more. The biggest question they ask you in the nomination form is, why does this person belong on the Forbes 30 under 30 list? Be specific. I basically had to write an entire personal statement, but I'm not very good at embellishing, but I was like, screw it. This is my last year. I'm gonna just ask all my friends to help me. So my marketing and my B-School friends reviewed my essay and like spruced it up a lot. I got connected to other alumni who also reviewed my essay. I reached out to the company to see if they'd be down to endorse me. Long story short, they said no. Sometimes tech companies really just like do these kinds of things for VP level and above, so yeah, it makes sense. But still, it just doesn't feel great when I ask other Forbes people how they got on and they're like, I don't know, my company just put me up for it and I found out one day. This process for me to get submitted as an individual was really hard. It's a lot of work. So more about the application. It requires for you to be submitted under a certain category. Like Forbes chooses 30 categories in the world and chooses 30 people within every category. So this is strategy here and you can pick which category you have better chances for. I submitted myself for gaming because it made sense for my company. Oh. What I learned about this process is you truly have to embellish. You cannot be humble. I got maybe 6 people to nominate me and I nominated myself because why not? And then it was done. Life went on. Oh, this is really soft. I'm gonna watch The Last of Us with this. But then on September 9th, 2022, I got an email that was titled Media Inquiry from Forbes 30 under 30 list. It said, you've been identified as a potential Forbes candidate for this year's games list. We'd like some more information, so please fill out this form. Cool. This should be easy. But no. I opened up this Google form and there are like 20 short response questions. It was just college apps all over again. Hi unichlos! It is Friday, September 30th in the late afternoon. I think I'm finally done with this freaking Forbes submission form. I think I spent over 10 hours revising my responses and I think we're in a good place. So we're gonna review it one last time. All right, y'all, this is really silly, but one of the requirements is to send a headshot and I could not for the life of me determine which one I wanted. So it was between this one and I think we're gonna go with this one. We're min-maxing the character count. We're gonna hit submit. I'm scared. Ready to submit?
Response has been recorded.
Holy cow. I'm so nervous.
You'll forget about it by the time December
I
is
know.
over.
It was things like, who's your dream mentor? What's the biggest myth about your generation? What's something you didn't learn in college that would have been really helpful for the real world? This application is reviewed by media people and then passed along to, I think, 4 judges that were previous alumni of your category. These were the judges for my year, but I didn't know that at the time. So I really had to keep in mind who the audience would be, which is like previous gaming Forbes alumni. Then on the morning of Tuesday, November 29th, 2022, I woke up to a Discord DM from a mod from like the 100 Thieves server because we were chatting about like Discord stuff. He was like, yo, congrats on Forbes. And I'm like, what? And then I called Kevin over, we looked at the website and lo and behold, there I was. But yeah, it was wild. They literally like don't tell you until the morning of. By the way, this is a headphones holder from GroveMade. Thank you GroveMade for sending this over to me. That day I was bombarded by tons of texts of people congratulating me. I was super busy too. Kevin and I were hosting Kevin's parents, so we had to take care of them as well. And it wasn't until like 10 p.m. until I finally called my own parents to tell them what's up. But yeah, it was madness, but it's also full of joy. But what happens after you get on the list? So when I first got it, I got invited to like a bunch of events and conferences. Like there was one event in New York for our class, but it immediately sold out. There was also a holiday party that I RSVP'd for, but ended up not going because I didn't know anyone there and I was nervous. There are global conferences that you get invited to, like in Dubai or Botswana, but it's really expensive. Oh, dude, I forgot I bought the karaoke machine. But yeah, there's also, I don't know how to like talk about this, but yeah, you also get added to a bunch of WhatsApp groups like Forbes 30 under 30 gaming and film and acting and tech and like crypto VC. There's also Los Angeles, New York, dating, like there's so many. I remember trying to go to the holiday party and I texted another like Forbes person. I was like, hey, are you gonna go? And he was like, oh shoot, I didn't make the RSVP, but I'm gonna go to another party. Do you wanna come? And I'm like, yeah. Because I didn't know anyone at the Forbes holiday party, so I was like, I only know this one guy. And so I go, and it was a holiday party with a bunch of gaming people, mostly from Riot. It was really fun. The community is so nice. I was really glad I got to meet all those people that night. Anyways, I'm trying to set up karaoke at home because I love singing and I hate going outside. I'm gonna share some honest thoughts about Forbes. I told myself that getting this honor would be awesome, but if I didn't get it, it doesn't mean that anything I've done changes. It's just an award that validates or recognizes what I've done. That's the only difference. And I also get to meet cool people from it. So do I think I deserve to be on this list? I mean, I'm literally at the bottom of the page. I'm in the gaming category. I don't even think I'm a gamer, so there's that. But yeah, I just feel like I used to look at people in the Forbes list like they were some sort of different breed of people. Like you had to be ultra special to be on it, and I wish I were them. There was a lot of envy there. Okay, real quick, I got some new speakers because I like music and I've not bought myself some speakers, and this is what it looks like. It's the Audio Engine A2 Plus.
It's upside down.
It's the Audio Engine A2 Plus. Forget it. But anyways, Forbes people and my thoughts on them. I was talking about how I was like really envious of people, but I always remember this one time when I was on a call with a Forbes 30 Under 30 alum who was trying to pitch me to join their company. And the call was going for like over an hour. It was a really long call for some reason. It was like an interview basically. And then they were talking to me, and then all of a sudden I hear a plop, and then a flush. And I realized that this person just took a mad dump in the middle of my interview. And I just thought, damn, Forbes 30 Under 30, everyone. Anyways, that's the story. I hope you enjoyed hearing all of the nitty-gritty details. I need to eat some lunch. I got some delivery from DoorDash, got Thai food. In the end, I'm super grateful to be on the list. If you're trying to go for the list this year, I hope this breakdown was helpful. And if you don't make it, honestly, this is just a title. That's all it is. I hope it doesn't change all the good work that you're putting out every single day in your life. If you like this video, check me out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Discord. I don't know, there's so many other platforms that I'm on. Thank you to all the unichlos who've been supporting me. Y'all are extraordinary. These are the Twitch subs and the Discord subs. I appreciate you so much. That's all I got for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I was submitted through gaming. Oh, is this the right color? I got some new speakers. I didn't know it'd be opening like this. I'm losing my voice. I am losing my voice.
Dude, I think FOD places that do a FOD hunt are strictly worse than places that are like FOD 2000.
Yeah, 80.
Yeah, FOD and a number, that's way better.
That's a base take.